Huh? Mitch. Yep. Good evening. I call the May meeting of the Merrimack Valley School Board to order. We'll begin with a roll call.
Sorry, we're temping as clerks tonight. Celie Longnecker,
Here.
Tracy Ambricky. Here. Jessica Wheeler Russell. Here. Laura Vincent. Here. Eric Hansen. Here. Owen Harrington. Here. Peggy Jones Blanchard. Here. Lauren Martin. Here. Melissa Muzzy. Here.
Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I love those little voices in our pledge. Thank you. Could I have a motion to accept the minutes of the previous meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any additions or corrections, questions?
Sally sent it in.
Sally didn't send any, and she's proctoring a final exam tonight, so she couldn't be here. None? All those in favor of accepting the minutes as written, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I will now open the floor to public comment on items that are on the agenda. Is there anybody who wishes to comment?
Celia, I guess I wanted to talk about some facility stuff. Are you going to do the presentation first? Or you want to...
No, now is the public comment. We have a facilities committee report on the agenda. Is this about that?
That is. Yeah, I wanted to speak about it. I attended the walkthrough at the Washington Street School now, and I had a bunch of comments. I went into my files a little bit and dug out, we used that place as an elementary school in Pennacook up till 2000 or so, and that's when we built the Pennacook Elementary School. And some of the documentation that I was able to pull out of my files about that was interesting. It headlines outdated facility. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. We're talking about maybe $3 to $3.5 million that Fred was saying it might take to continue with our maintenance of that facility. And it's a lot of money for a facility that we identified as being outdated some time ago. So the walk through the facility was really a step back in time. The building hasn't changed since I remember it, and it really is a stark contrast to some of the facilities that we have nowadays. I think that when we left that facility in that year, we identified that we still had space needs, but that facility, because it was on multiple levels and had other had other details that made it not very useful for the purpose that it was serving, still exists today. So I know that the facilities committee is preparing to authorize some money to do a study on some of the major things. I'm going to say that the three big ones that came up in that was heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. The heat was another one, and an elevator. We have asbestos. We have other things in that building that make it a challenge, quite frankly. Of course, going someplace else is equally as a challenge because we don't really have that place. there are two assets that I think that building has. And if we sat and listened to the folks that are over there, and we did, one of the assets that you can't reproduce or wouldn't reproduce elsewhere is the gym. There are apparently some students over there that require some time when they're timeout time, where they just need to go burn some energy, and that gym is an integral asset to that. I knew, of course, when I asked about the gym, that it's used a lot, nights and evenings for basketball and other events. And I think the community would miss it if we were to sell that building. So that's one asset. The other asset it has is its location. You know how the real estate people talk about location. Well, that one's in a good location. It's not too far off of the campus here. Some of the programs that we saw there, ISS, the Merrimack Valley Learning Center, and CSI, I'd lost track of what was there. I remember that Merrimack Valley sponsored, I think it's the MVLC now, sponsored that, and it's actually part of us or somehow.
What? The
MVLC.
Learning Center is.
Right.
Yes.
But CSI is
CSI is totally separate.
is a tenant.
Is a tenant, yes.
Right. So, and then of course we have the ISS, and that was kind of one of the first uses that I think we saw or started to get used. I mean, back at the time. And so
We have a bit of a time constraint. Can you wrap it up?
I'm wrapping up. So I'm going to share the 2000 stuff that I had as well as the ISS stuff, because I think that it would be useful to see or learn how that program is still serving our needs over
Great.
there, as well as to get an understanding of what the total costs are over there to operate that building, and other pertinent things that I think are reasonable to ask for as we begin to embark on a building program there to get that building up to speed.
Thank you, Bill.
Yep.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on the agenda?
Hi, Jesse Pennicook. You'll have to forgive me because the agenda, at least as far as what I can see when I go on the MSVD website, is just facilities committee. It doesn't really have a lot of the items underneath it. So I just wanted to ask, as a follow-up to the last meeting, if there was any considerations put forth about the AstroTurf and looking into some of the also potential downsides of installing that. And just kind of wanted to put that forth to kind of keep that issue alive, because I do think there's things that require further research on that, but also because I know you guys are moving forward with just an assessment at this time, not a decision on whether or not to have it. So I just wanted to put that in.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Where are we? The SAU report on MV Business and Finance.
Sure. So pages 7 through 15 of your electronic report is this month's financial report. You'll see it's getting a little longer as we get a little closer to the end of the year. That's pretty typical for this time of year. Not much has changed, just special ed contracted services and district-wide operations and maintenance needs. But we seem to be in pretty good shape.
Could I have a motion to accept the business and finance report?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Go ahead. Do you
I
have a question? Yes.
Yeah, and I should know this by now, and I don't. So when do we make those transfers? Like, the speech services, that'll be put to the vacant position. When do those transfers happen? I'm sorry.
So typically the transfers, they won't happen. They'll just be covered by other lines. We tend to leave those lines as overages so we can show a true
Okay.
accurate accounting of what happened in those lines for this fiscal year.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? All those in favor of accepting the report, say aye.
No.
No, we moved to accept it. We are now voting on accepting the MV Business and Finance report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Good news.
Okay, I know that we have some performers here tonight, so
Awesome.
we'll be brief. Good news is in the digital packet, starts on page 17, full of outdoor learning, music and the arts, STEAM and STEM. And we have some administrators here in the audience. Anybody have any additional good news to add? This is where I do an awkward pause.
And
Here-
stare.
Hearing none, I will introduce Jen Moore as the host this evening. She has some talented musicians with us to present. And Jen, I'll leave it to you.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you.
Can you use a mic just because the folks online can't hear if you don't?
course.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jennifer Moore. I'm the principal of Pennacook Elementary School. We are coming off the heels of Music in Our Schools Month, and we just had a huge presentation at Pennacook Elementary School highlighting all of the work that our students have done, and we just wanted to give you a little snapshot of that. I think that if the fire marshal were at Pennacook Elementary School on the day of this event, we probably would have been in some trouble. So it was very well attended, and the kids are really excited about the work that they've done, so they want to show you. So I am going to hand the mic over to Amy Harkins.
Thank you so much for having us. So this is a group of third grade students. They volunteered to be here tonight. We have been really lucky this year to have ukuleles be brought into our music education. And third grade really got to showcase it with their performance. Each grade level did their own presentation of what they've been working on. And these students are going to showcase a song. It's a Nicaraguan folk song called Banana. And we have Odin on the xylophone, and we have Cooper, Emma, and Owen playing ukulele, and Abby and Natalie and Everly singing for us. So come on up, girls. Should they have the microphone near them? Okay. Mind holding it?
I think it'll carry. Yeah.
Maybe on the table, Jen? Directed at them? Yeah.
Thank you.
Todos quieren la banana. Todos quieren la banana. Todos quieren la banana. Todos quieren la banana. Chicago, like your stuff. New York, like your stuff. Miami, like your stuff. Nashville, like your stuff. Nevada, like your stuff. Vermont, like your stuff. Nebraska, like your stuff. Oregon, like your stuff. Banana, banana. Woo! All the nations like bananas. 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 Nummy, I like it. China like it. You and me like it. Everybody like it. India like it. Russia like it. Sweden like it. Everybody like it. Banana, banana. Woo! Todos quieren la banana. Todos quieren la banana. Todos quieren la banana. Todos quieren la banana. La banana. La banana. Woo!
Thank you. That was terrific. We appreciate you coming. Okay. Katie and Nick, I don't know if you can follow that.
Have to sing their report.
Yeah.
Hey, that was really good. Not gonna lie. So there's been a lot going on here at the school. I'm gonna try to keep it nice and short. But the French classes went on a trip to Quebec City, which is really great. 45 students went. We got to visit the most photographed hotel, the Hotel Chateau Frontenac. Got to visit 2 basilicas. Got to go to a sugar shack and have some traditional music and food. Also got to make some maple butter and maple taffy. We went to a cool wood carving museum, and they made us wooden spoons, and they customized them with our names and stuff. So this is a very traditional instrument in Quebec. So when we went to the sugar shack, we were actually playing them. We also got to visit a waterfall taller than Niagara Falls. Went on many tours, got some free time to explore the city, and more pictures can be found on the MVSD French Instagram. Sports, boys lacrosse has started off the season 4-2. Girls lacrosse is also 4-2. Baseball is 1-5, and softball is 4-3. Boys and girls track and field have had 5 meets, so they've been doing good. Also, the sports management class is hosting a student staff softball game called the Diamond Duel on May 30th. And the sports management class also got to go down and take a tour of Fenway Park. And they also got to visit Red Sox player Trevor Story. So that's a pretty cool visit there.
So obviously we just got back from vacation. It was really, really nice to not have to do anything. I got to be honest, but it's okay. We're in the final stretch now. So before vacation, we were able to host the bachata dance class with Spanish Honor Society, and we had a really good turnout for the amount of students. There was probably like 30 of us in there, and I honestly was a little nervous at first because like I can't dance, like I can't. But I honestly had a lot of fun. So I'm really glad that she came. All the honor societies here at MV are preparing for the induction ceremony on May 18th. So we're excited to just welcome the new members as us seniors are on our farewells. Also before break, the seniors presented their senior projects. So another final thing that we had to do, but everyone did really well and like they were all proud of us. So one step closer to graduation. And I have 2 jokes, obviously. How many university graduates does it take to change a light bulb? 1, but it may take up to 7 years. And I have a knock-knock joke. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Spell.
So,
WHO.
Okay, Katie. Moving on to committee reports, we'll begin with the policy committee. You need a mic, please.
Thanks. It's been a long Monday. Thought maybe I turned it off, but I didn't. So yes, policy committee, we met specifically to take another look at the cell phone policy or the cell phone request. And our meeting was, I'm just gonna look at the date because I can't remember off the top of my head, was the 17th. And that was our focus for the meeting. We did talk about some other things that are coming up in legislation that we might need to address, and also looking at some more B policies to review. But the one that we have for you in your packet for a first read is communication and recording devices policy. As we met, you know, the student presentation was very thorough and had a lot of like very specific things that they wanted to look for. We felt like that was a building level amount of detail. So the policy in front of you for your first read is really just giving the schools, the elementary, the middle schools, and the high schools, the opportunity to identify what are the criteria that they would like to set in their buildings in terms of what are the needs of their students. So take a look at it. If there's things that you feel like we need to add, we'll be happy to take another look at it. This policy is really to provide guidance. So. But we hope that the students and the staff at the high school in particular who came to the presentation use what they started with when they go to the table to develop what they'd like to see for next year. So,
Are there any questions for Melissa at this time? Okay, this is a first read.
first read.
We would do a second read in June and hopefully vote on it at that time. So if you come up with any questions or concerns, please contact Melissa.
Perfect.
Thank you. Facilities Committee.
Yep, so we met on, I believe this was the 11th of April, and we met at the Learning Center and received a fantastic tour led by our wonderful tour guide, Fred, and he kind of walked us through everything that was done, the building itself, some of the work that was done, some of the work that's needed, and such like that. And then we convened and kind of had an open discussion with some members of the community there and each other. And we did make a motion to have Fred reach out to a handful of contractors to look at what it would take to get an assessment on the work that's the priority work that needs to get done. I don't know if Fred, if you have that.
I do. So we did the tour.
Just, you need a mic, Fred.
Told that before, but
Well, there are people at home who are going to hang on every word you have.
Yes.
I'm used to that. Okay, so a company, EEI, Energy Efficiency Investments, are working with the school district right now on the 3 ESSER HVAC projects. I toured the building with one of their superintendents, John Francis, last week. And I told him to go soup to nuts. Door replacements, suspended ceilings, the whole 9 yards. So when they come back with this facility study, it's going to be more than $3.5 million. It wouldn't surprise me if it's $7 or $8 million because it is everything. I have not had a chance yet to meet with him to prioritize things, and I expect to do that in the next couple of weeks. He has given me a price design budget of not to exceed $20,500. I would like to ask you guys tonight to raise that to $30,000, just because, for instance, one of the things that they have in here is a total asbestos abatement. That was never part of my plan. Some of this stuff, if we weren't doing this, we would never see again because it's up in the ceilings, mud fittings. All the corridor floors, cafeteria floor are all asbestos tile. Best stuff in the world. If it didn't kill you, I'd like to keep it there forever. There's absolutely no danger of it being there. It's totally encapsulated. We had it here at the high school for 48 years or however many years. Holds a shine, just good stuff. And that's probably going to be $200,000, $300,000 right there. And that's probably very low. So that's not part of it. They're going to have to make, if this work goes through, they're going to have to make penetrations through the floors for pipes, vents, that type of stuff. So it may or may come in, but we'll have to wait and see what the design is to see how many penetrations, for instance, there would be. Whether or not it would be something that we would want to look into to add to the project if that project happens. If you remember back in 2006, beginning of 2007, I came back to the school board to ask for additional $250,000 to do a total abatement here of the asbestos at the high school, where there was also mud fittings in the ceilings and asbestos floor everywhere. We did it then because of the number of the penetrations that they had to make. So I'm here to ask for a budget not to exceed $30,000. And just to give you a few quick things, energy recovery units, they would be looking for 5 of those during the project, 1 for each floor, 1 for the single story where CSI is currently leasing, and 1 for the gymnasium. Energy recovery units takes the heat of air going out, pre-warms the air coming in, so it saves a lot of electricity and energy because you're preheating the winter air. Filling in the current boiler room and pouring a new slab. It says on here it's because it exceeds 500 square feet. If that's a code, I'm unaware of it. We don't have any boiler rooms that exceed 500 feet, except that one apparently. A new electrical service in the brick building. New gym floor, insulate the exterior walls, backboards, bleachers, scoreboards. They really just listed everything. And where it has good bones, obviously it hasn't been really touched since Well, 1935. So when I get that, we will ask for another facilities committee because we will do that. Everything's going to be transparent and we can all figure out exactly how we want to move forward. Does anybody have any questions on that?
So the 30,000 that you want is for a study to figure out what it would cost to do absolutely everything, but then afterwards we get to sort of pick and choose?
I think that we're going to pare, I want to pare that list down before they do the study.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
We know what needs to be done now,
Yeah.
in essence. For instance, we talked, gym floor is one of the things that would be at the end of the list. I mean, gym floor might not happen till we're all retired. I don't know. It all depends on what else there is and what the facilities committee and then the board feels are the priorities and what they want to move forward with. You know, we don't have a blank check to write out here, so we have to be careful and carefully prioritize things. The most important thing is heating system and HVAC.
Okay.
That's it, right there. That's the first thing. I think if we're going to grow the program over there to finance this, then the second thing we would need, we'd want to replace the windows on the third floor and an elevator. So we have access to the third story, second story, depending on how you look at it, to put those kids somewhere.
Mhm.
I mean, that's a game changer. There's some ADA stuff we have to do. We have to replace the stairwells themselves, the steps. The handrails don't meet code anymore. They're beautiful handrails. I think we can probably sell that to the people that did the fire barn steeple. They're into that sort of thing. Also relating to Washington Street School, which has nothing to do with this study. Myself, Lou Cody from TF Moran Engineering, and Sunny Heath from Kearsarge Concrete removed the step off the front steps over there this week, last Friday, because we wanted to see the condition of the structure underneath the steps, and it is mint condition, which I never would have guessed based on the one that we did work on at the funeral home side. So now I have a meeting with Phoenix Precast. Sunny Heath doesn't want to be involved in that part of it. He will pour the front main step, the 4-foot step. Looking for that, and I'm also going to get a price doing it with granite. The plans say it is granite. Granite has never graced those steps whatsoever.
Okay.
So that's very good news. Are there any questions on Washington Street? Because I have one more thing I want to tell you.
Anyone?
Okay, so you all know, well, some of you know, some of you weren't here. Laura, you know. In 2014, we finished the Safe Routes to School travel guide. You were here, obviously. We know that a couple of years ago, it was $1.4 million to do all that work. There is a grant. Usually it has about $2.3 million in it. And normally there's anywhere from 35 to 45 people that apply for it. The grant is up to $1 million, which means we would have had to come to the public and ask for $400,000 because I didn't think that was a doable solution. We started last year repaving Beatty and putting a sidewalk on Beatty Drive. We also have to put a sidewalk on both the front and the back access roads. The whole idea of this is K through 8, first off, that's Safe Routes to School, is so middle school students can get to Village Street, High Street, Community Drive, and Village Street on this side without going through any traffic, which now they have to. This year, I was going to do the back access road till the city of Concord. Martha Drucker called, the acting engineer, and said that the city had $40,000 if we wanted to do a sidewalk between Community Drive and Allen's High Street. And I said, I would do that if you don't mind putting parking on that, parallel parking along the road. If anybody's ever been here in the afternoon, the cars are already lined up. I met with the city up here a couple Fridays ago. We're good to go. And it's going to be about $100,000. So they're going to pay 40, we're going to pay 60. Last year, that 485 feet on Beatty Drive was $76,000. So we're actually gonna spend less money doing that than we would have doing that, because that's like 800. So other than that, we got an extra 40 grand. Now we can use that extra 60 for something else. Any questions at all before I sit down, after I've held your attention?
I just want to make sure I understand where that, where the money on our end is coming from. Is that from the grant or is that from the district that's going to be paying for
The
that?
60,000?
Yeah,
Our share of that,
Uh-huh.
that's coming from the CIP.
thank you.
So
Because it
you're
made
not
more
asking
sense-
for any money for that? That money is already in the budget, correct?
That money is already in the maintenance expendable trust.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So the request is to authorize you to spend not more than $30,000 on a study of
Engineering
Washington
study,
Street,
Yes.
Engineering.
engineering study for Washington Street School. Is that money in, I mean, we have the money,
Okay.
so we're not asking to raise additional funds. Okay, is there a motion?
I only do that at annual meetings.
I know, that's why I'm asking.
I'll make,
25 for 25, aren't we?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? Any questions for Fred?
He's pretty thorough.
He is.
Fred.
Thank
Fred.
you. Yes, you can sit down if you want to. Are you ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, where are we?
You're on old business.
Okay, old business. We did policy committee.
We did. I do
Oh.
need to set
Oh,
a
do you
meeting.
want, we want to set a policy meeting?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Did you have a date? I know you reached out to Sally about the time.
Sally did say that earlier is better now.
Okay.
So I don't know whether May 8th works better for you or May 15th. We could go at 5:30. I'm hearing May 8th whispered into my ear.
I also favor the 15th, Tracy.
Oh, 15th,
I can do either of those. You said 5:30?
5:30 on the 15th
At the SAU?
at the SAU.
Sounds like a plan.
Are there any other committee meetings that we need to set at this time?
We'll need facilities at some point, but we have to wait. until
Okay.
We have some info.
All right. Now can we do old business?
Thank
All right. We are very excited to have Becky Kennedy here to give us a follow-up presentation on the MVSD system of care. Thank you. Yeah, you got a lot of competition here.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Becky Kennedy. I'm the System of Care Coordinator. I have updates, kind of high-level updates on our 3 district goals that were created by our district community leadership team, which is a requirement through the System of Care grant. The first goal is district alignment, what we're doing district-wide, behavior health and wellness. Goal number 2, our behavioral health crisis response protocol and information sharing. And goal number 3, to strengthen our tier 1 programs. We look at PD, wellness, and prevention lens. So some updates from our school tiered teams and district counseling teams. Our tiered teams in our schools continue to focus on tier 1 work, meeting monthly. Updates from school counselors, suicide prevention lens. At the middle school, all 7th grade students received SOS, which is signs of suicide. A presentation by the school counselors using the acronym Acknowledge, Care, Tell. That is carried over at our high school. It's an evidence-based program where students in semester 2 Healthy Living received SOS. All 9th graders in semester 2 Healthy Living received the SOS training, and our current 10th, 11th, and 12th graders received an overview during a Pride block. That's a follow-up to the SOS training. District counselors had a fantastic March PD day working with Concord Hospital and Riverbend Emergency Services to really focus on our students who may either be admitted to the hospital or referred to the hospital for self-harm or suicidal ideation. Part of our work with Concord Hospital and Emergency Services is to talk about the hospital to school transition, how we can really help students and parents with a warm handoff and reentry back into our schools. And if we need to bridge work with our school counselors until they can get an intake for any community mental health services. So we've started that work. That will continue into next school year, but we will continue to do that work over the summer. Part of that work and through the grant, we have a dedicated school liaison role that will really help us focus on this tiered work, help us get information from our community mental health center, and make the connection with Concord Hospital and our school counselors. Continued community partnering through our district community leadership team. Again, that meeting's monthly. We've brought on board some new community partners, including the Crisis Center of Central New Hampshire, the Friends program, which is a specifically student mentoring program geared towards elementary, middle, and high school students, where the Friends program will partner with our school counselors and help them do some of that legwork. As you can imagine, since students returned from COVID, school counseling has gone beyond just career guidance and scheduling. And really there's a behavioral health and mental health component that school counselors are trying to address and help students and families connect with community mental health. Also, Upreach Therapeutic is a grant-funded program, so free to our students, that offers a couple of great programs for any students in Merrimack County that focuses on connection, resilience, and positive sense for trauma survivors. They also have a parent component, and Upreach was able to present to our district counseling team, which meets monthly, so we can connect those resources to families. So we're excited about those partnerships. We finished up our district staff wellness days. We had staff wellness days at 6 schools. Some of the community partners that offer their services for free included financial wellness, mindfulness and meditation, and an overview of Health Trust. We've had challenge course professional development, and we're looking to fund additional facilitator training for our challenge course in between the middle school and high school embedded in the woods, which is super exciting. I'm also really excited to announce that we were able to secure additional grant funding through the system of care in the amount of just north of $184,000 that we received the go-ahead for a week and a half ago, now through the end of August. So that will fund our district alignment with our responsive classroom training in all of our elementary schools, which is our K-5 focus. Sorry, reverb. We're also really excited to collaborate with Concord School District and the Capital Area Public Health Network and our System of Care grant to host Lynn Lyons. If you've heard of Lynn Lyons, she's fantastic. We will offer a night for parent and caregivers to really focus on student transitions. That's been a topic that we've received feedback on at the district community leadership team in my role, and it's geared towards 0 to 8, so preschool development grant, but absolutely all parents in the district are invited and staff. Stay tuned for times and dates where we're locking that in with Lynn. It will be in June, and that will be an overview on anxiety, transitions, development in general. That will be an evening presentation. Again, we'll do challenge course facilitator training, more tier 1 training, and then we'll jump into the youth risk behavior survey data that we just received back. So that's my update. Any questions?
Thank you. Anyone?
That was great.
I was shaking because my hand was tired. I wasn't. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. You've been busy. New business. Fiscal year 24 general assurances.
Yes, I'll speak to that.
Oh, okay.
As you may recall, a couple of years ago, they changed the law. We've always had general assurances and have always signed off, but the law change wanted it to be noted in the minutes of the board meeting. So the general assurances are really just the requirements and definitions for procurement of federal funds. So we have a number of title grants that we have, and IDEA, those sort of grants all have these general assurances. It's really just what you have to do to make sure that you can get that. And the thing is, you can't get it if you don't do it anyway. So it's kind of one of those cyclical sorts of things. Celia and I have both signed off on the document, so we really just for clarification in the notes, we'd like the board to just vote in approval of the general assurances, which really are just again, the rules, regulations, the things that we do for any of our federal grants.
Okay, could I have a motion to approve the general assurances? Is that
And just
So-
accept, maybe.
accept?
Except.
Yeah.
Accept the fiscal year 24 general assurances.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any questions about what that's all about? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do you have a personnel update? Here.
In the packet is a list of resignations that we've received since the last meeting. There are 5. But just so you'll know that we're making progress. 3 of those 5 positions have already been replaced.
Any questions?
Which 3?
Which 3 have been replaced? The 2 elementary classroom teachers and the band.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Manifests and journal entries. You've all seen these electronically. Tracy and I have signed off on them. Could I have a motion to accept them, please?
Second.
Questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Does the assistant superintendent have anything to report?
Very quickly, and really just to make sure that you all received the emails that I sent out about our Merrimack Valley High School Samsung Solve for Tomorrow. Hopefully you had a chance to check out that video, and hopefully you've been voting every day. So far as national finalists, just to recap for those, for the 6,357 people we have watching at home tonight. We are national finalists for the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow, which gives them already prize money of $50,000. And currently where we're saying vote every day, that's for the community award. That would be an additional 10,000. And then on the 14th of this month, Jeff Dutton and a team of 3 of the team members and 1 parent chaperone will be going down to Washington, D.C. to present Shelby, which is their little turtle that will be cleaning up water all over the place. And they're going to try to become the national winners, which would give them another $50,000 in Samsung goodies for the classroom and the school. So extremely proud of them. And even if you look at all 10 of the videos that are on there, there's one clear winner. And I think even people from the other schools are going to have to admit that. So I would encourage you to go ahead and continue voting and have good thoughts with them as they travel down to DC and present their design.
Thank you. Dr. McLean?
All right. Well, today is School Principals Day, so happy School Principals Day. It's a very difficult job, and every day should be School Principals Day.
I agree.
Next week is Teacher Appreciation Week, so we will make sure that our teachers and staff are well appreciated next week, and we'll have some MV swag that folks will be able to pick up again. And I'm sure that PTOs and administrators on the heels of their big day will ensure that their teachers are well fed and well taken care of. So I also want to share congratulations to the high school and Mr. Dutton and his students. Right now, I think in the last 3 years, they've won $90,000. So this is the 3rd year in a row that they've been a state winner. Really, Samsung might as well just park a merchandise van in the back lot and just make sure that we have everything we need. Dr. Wormold and I were at a conference a few weeks ago, and we tried to talk LG, one of Samsung's biggest competitors, into doing something similar with arts and humanities. So I was thinking about all of our talented artists and the fact that we could have digital signage and digital murals everywhere.
Really?
And as a result, they asked Randy and I to maybe serve on a board. But if that allows us to open up some grant funds, we'll gladly spend some time with them. But we really were able to leverage Samsung and what they're doing with STEM to tell LG that they weren't really getting it done. So maybe more news to come on that. Randy and I are almost on our new teacher meetings. They've lasted longer than normal. We've been able to tell people, instead of visiting them when the days are short, we're bringing the sunshine because the days are getting longer. But
Not today.
not today, and maybe hopefully sometime this week. This weekend's supposed to be beautiful. So we continually always hear how supported and how amazed our new professionals in the district are when it comes to the support and the opportunities that they have to connect. And there's not one person in 9 years of doing these meetings that has never said that Pam Hill isn't amazing. Everyone just says that she is absolutely amazing. So it's my opportunity just to remind you all, if you see Pam, tell her she's amazing. And as well as all the administrators who support these new teachers every single year. We have a great new teacher program. We have a great summer program. Randy's been great at leveraging federal money and grant money to do some innovative things. We had new teachers go-kart racing last summer and playing mini golf as a way to do some initial team building before they went out into their buildings. Now when they see each other, they have a bond and they know that, they know each other. They're the class of 2000, I guess we call them class of 2022 since they came in the fall. But it's really just a great thing. We had an opportunity to present last year on this, and it's a program that MB should be very proud of, the way that we treat and support new teachers and people that are new to the district. Randy and I have continued to work with our regional, state, and I've had the opportunity to connect with some national folks through the Lakes Region Superintendents Association, through our statewide association, the NHSAA, and I was able to connect with some folks a couple weeks ago through the AASA, which is the national organization. So we continue to have seats at the table to ensure that we understand what's going on and to support our colleagues, and state borders don't necessarily matter when we're supporting our colleagues. We're in the middle of hiring season, and as I always tell you, we're planning for next year. And I do have some important dates for folks. SAU board meeting next Wednesday. The retiree tea is the Wednesday after that, the 17th. Chris Michael usually has some good food there.
Yeah, you bet.
That was 4:30, right?
It might be 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. And then graduation is on the 10th at 10 a.m.
Congratulations.
So those are the three big dates that I thought I would bring to your attention. And with that, I will close my report. Unless there's a question.
No, it's not a question. It's just another date.
Okay.
So this Thursday, in the Merrimack Valley High School auditorium is the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, Justice, and Belonging Committee listening meeting. It's the city council for Concord, but don't forget Pennacook and Merrimack Valley High School and Merrimack Valley Middle School are in that area. And so it's here at the high school at 6 o'clock. And it would be our chance to find out what the goals of that committee are and how it could possibly affect what happens here in in the district. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Good.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Topics for the next board meeting? Anyone? Okay, we will open the floor for additional public comment with a reminder that this is not a back and forth discussion, just a time to comment. Is there anyone who wishes to say anything?
Thanks, Celie. So no questions is what
Correct.
you just said. Okay, well, because I had some specific questions, they were related to handover, and I'll ask them, but you cannot answer them, and that's okay. So one of the questions that I had was for the benchmark that I brought up last meeting with regard to what the benchmark is for the handover agreement. Specifically, we talked about the benchmark being the number that Hillary makes that's available by September, or the number that we get to out of the Department of Education DOE 25 document that's at the end of the year. So I'd like to know that sometime about what we're doing, about which number to use. The other ones were questions, like I said, and they continue to be questions, and you can choose not to answer. I was curious, we didn't land in Canterbury's review of, they were looking to perhaps pull out of Belmont, and they were searching for other spots where they could send their students. And we were one of the places that they were asking about multiple times, and we didn't respond. So I was curious to know why that was, or why we didn't end up in their report.
Just to be clear, they never did ask us.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I needed to hear. Great, thank you. Because we weren't in there, but Concord, and there was a bunch of other ones. So, and then the last one was, you know, I've asked multiple times. I'll remind you again. I'm hopeful that the board will see clear to find some way to make a reparation for the amount of money that wasn't collected for handover tuition. So those are the things that.
Thank you, Bill.
Yep.
Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to comment? Okay. Could I have a motion, please, to go into non-public session under RSA 91-A 311?
So moved.
Second.
That's a roll call vote, please.
Celie Longnecker.
Yes.
Tracy Bricky.
Yes.
Jessica Wheeler Russell.
Yes.
Laura Vincent.
Yes.
Eric Hansen. Owen Harrington. Lauren Martin.
Yes.
Melissa Muzzy.
Yes.
Peggy Jones Blanchard.
Yes.
Okay, we'll take a couple of minutes break and go into non-public.
Make it home in time for the Celtics game. I can't believe the Bruins lost last night.
We're not doing
Oh my!
They just weren't the best. I mean, they were the best team all year, but they weren't.
I don't
serious.
understand how
they
they.
lost 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
And they lost 3